Hey, true believers, England Teen here. It's another episode of Bad Comic Beatdown. I haven't done one of these in forever, and this one is so special. I had to bring a guest, the real Dr. VENKMAN, except no substitutes.
How's it going?
All righty. So the comic book in question. You know what? No, this is too small. I need a build up for this because and plus it's going to be on the thumbnail, so the build up is useless. The She-Hulk was created because they wanted to protect the copyright. They had Hulk on TV, and it was thought, wait a second, if we don't create She-Hulk, someone's going to create She-Hulk. So, they started hedging their bets. Spider-Woman, She-Hulk, that kind of thing. So they created it. If you ever go back, by the way, I've got a video here that goes through her origin, the very first issue of She-Hulk. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. But if you ever watch that, or you read it and you read the other books in the series, there's 25, you'll realize that at the time She-Hulk was very much the Hulk. Seriously, I mean, she was a little bit more there than the Hulk, but for the most part she was the Hulk, a female version of the Hulk, except she looked like a woman. Then through time, she gained her own personality, actually ended up becoming a very funny character, and then they gave it to John Byrne, and kaboom, she exploded. And this is where She-Hulk just came into her own, and she was her own person. She had her own personality. Now, granted, in the beginning, it was during her time in the Avengers and Fantastic Four and such. But even with that personality, had a really good story in the Avengers where she went crazy, and then afterwards Dan Slott of all people wrote a good couple of series. Still, she had her own personality. She was her own person. So recently, Marvel's been going through this whole diversity thing, and do what you need to do, I understand, but they've been screwing it up left and right. They just cannot get this right. I always mention, you should not take the very first African-American superhero, which is Falcon. And by the way, I get it. A lot of people go, but Black Panther, what part of America is Wakanda in? But he was the first black guy who was protecting Harlem, later, of course, we got Luke Cage. But what they do is they take him and they say, hey, you're going to take the name of your more famous white counterpart, and we're going to call it a promotion. I'm sorry, that's racism.
Yep.
So anyway, one other thing they're doing is they're trying to avoid the male gaze. So in order to, of course, be more diverse, they turn their blonde Ms. Marvel into a 6-foot-tall guy with pecs, not breasts. And so it looks like the Aryan poster child. And what they do to She-Hulk, and yes, I've got this cover, is they really turn her into what Dr. VENKMAN has. Yeah, that. And look, it started in the Tamaki run. The Tamaki run was a She-Hulk book about getting coffee. There was nothing to it. But what they did was they made She-Hulk look like the Hulk and talk like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Long story short, too late, they made She-Hulk into the Hulk. They took away all of her personality. The way that they're avoiding male gaze, the way that they're being diverse, is to make this woman act exactly like a man. We did a video on I Love Comics called Man with Boobs. Check it out. It's like they take away all they take away all the feminine products, all the feminine properties, in order to avoid male gaze. And what they do is they create a guy.
I gotta say though, they really didn't take away the male gaze. They just made it focus more on the books and point out the flaws.
That could be too, which we're going to do right now. So this right here, this is the Immortal She-Hulk. I got this because the Alex Ross cover, and in all honesty, I probably would have gotten it because I'm a fan of the She-Hulk. He got the zombie cover. Yeah,
because it doesn't look like She-Hulk, so it doesn't really bothers me much, this cover.
Now this looks more like the She-Hulk I liked in the 80s and 90s.
That looks like China She-Hulk.
Yeah,
from wrestling.
The thing is, though, if you're going to have a muscular, I don't mind them making her muscular. I mean, making her skinny just doesn't look right. No. So make her muscular, fine. but don't make her manly. And that's what they've been doing, and that's what's in the art. So I'm going to open this so I could show off a few things if necessary, or we're recording it, and maybe I'll just put the voiceover on.
Make sure you don't lose the E on it, because that would be bad.
Well, thankfully, there are no letters on the Alex Ross cover. Oh, man, I destroyed it. No, I'm just kidding. So I really wanted to talk about this book so much because this book sucks. Oh my gosh. I mean, the whole thing is called Bad Comic Beatdown, so I'm not spoiling how I feel about this book.
I got the variant cover. Yours is a variant 2, or is yours normal?
Yeah, this is a variant cover.
All right,
this is cover number 4.
For $5, that's a good, decent variant. That's a good, nice pinup.
Yeah. Well, I've been getting all the Alex Ross, but
that.
By the way, Alex Ross is covering crap comics with good covers. That's all I've got to say here. Just
to me, that's a steal for $5. At least you're getting like what would be a $20 pinup on his website.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, the best thing I could do is get one of those frames and start hanging them up on the wall, right?
Just tear the cover off, burn the rest of it. That's all you got to do, because I don't see this really being popular.
After this, I probably will never open this book again. Here's the thing. This is I'm talking about this book. We're going to go through it. But the one thing that really bothered me about this is they've got the Immortal She-Hulk. Okay, we saw what they did with the Hulk when they called him Immortal Hulk. Granted, it wasn't a Hulk story. What they did was they took a Where Monsters Dwell or a Tales to Astonish before, or Journey into Mystery before it became about Thor or any of the superheroes. It was always monster books. What they did was they took a monster book, put the Hulk in it, and called it the Immortal Hulk. It should be anything but. This is a recap book. That's what this is. This is not meant to carry the character any further.
It's a one-shot.
There's no storyline. Yeah, but a one-shot could still tell a story.
I know.
This doesn't tell a story. This is a YouTube video that's put to paper. This is me telling you all the stuff that I told you before in the less than 5 minutes of video time, and it's got to be less because we had like 2 minutes of me f***ing around and screwing the intro, which I might just keep in anyway. But all of what I said is in here. All of it is in here.
Yeah, it is a reaction comic to the Empire comedy events that happened in Empire. So basically, it's like the aftermath of the Civil War. Like they do the little books.
You have you start off with her getting shot, and she remembers, of course, the origin story told in 2 pages.
Which I like the drawing they did for the origin stuff, redoing it stuff. It's a nice little fresh little update, But after that, you can stop reading.
Okay, this right here, I want to show this off because this is also part of the big problem. See, She-Hulk, not only do they not give her a character, but they don't care. If you look, the 2 big dramatic scenes, the two page spread things, neither one of them have the She-Hulk in it. They don't. They just don't care. They gloss over her origins. It's more about what goes on and the people that are around her. Wolverine gets more characterization than she does in this book.
And Wolverine, wow. Speaking of Wolverine, bringing him into this, I didn't expect that, But then again, he's been popping up in books I never thought he'd be. It's like the Carol Danvers books, like a Marvel in there. What he said in here to her is pretty much true. He's like, she's apparently, from the gist, is she died, so she's got shell shock. She's got PST, or whatever you call it. She doesn't know how to deal with it. She came back to life, and she's like, well, crap. Does this mean I'm immortal now? That's the question. Because I can't not die. This is the first, so she asks the guy who is pretty much big down to his skeleton for his brain, Wolverine.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about. I'm going to talk about that. Back in the 80s and 90s, you could kill him. His healing factor could be overloaded, but it wasn't Civil War. It was it was Civil War.
Yep.
He's fighting the explosive guy. Napalm or whatever. Nuke. Thank you. No, that's not it. It's something else. Anyway, somebody's going to tell us in the comment section.
Of course they will. They always do.
But he's fighting this guy. He gets blown up and he regenerates from a drop of blood. No. Once you did that, you ended Wolverine. I'm sorry, but that's true. There's no tension to anything now because so long as a drop of blood exists, he can come back. But they ended it with the X-Men anyway. Get this. He says he's going to take this guy into Krakoa. They'll take care of him. And he says it's an island like any for anyone. And she says, nice for some. So Wolverine decides he's going to become a victim. Yep. Years of being hated, feared, hunted, and killed. We finally got somewhere safe, somewhere that's ours. And after years of being a celebrity Avenger, loved and adored, you got everything you always had. Krakoa existing don't affect you one bit except for, see, and this is modern day writing. This is modern day storytelling. This is people who actually believe that it's revenge. It's not about equality. You don't want equality. You want revenge for something. Yep. I'm sorry that people treated you bad in the past. It wasn't me. Shut the fuck up. Shut up, you know. It's that's just, in the end, there's a lot of whining, and in the writing turned Wolverine to a victim.
Yes.
But then the next page, he's back to tough talking. Oh, my friend gave me the keys to this bar. And she goes, well, I saw you pick the lock with the claw. I didn't have mommy. You know, it's like, okay, dude, you just claimed victimhood. All right.
And then you broke into someone's house.
And you want to talk tough. It's just not working.
What really threw me for a loop is they just, all of a sudden, Jennifer wasn't in this book. We just got Kimberly the Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah, she is kind of wearing that outfit, isn't she?
That's the first I noticed. I was like, okay, or is we gonna start doing like karate moves and stuff, and like more for power time? You know, it's like, because I'm like, who decided? You know what? We're gonna have her wear that outfit, which does not even she wears it when she's not She-Hulk, but when she turns to She-Hulk, she's not wearing that costume.
I know, that's just weird. Why do that? Why not? Okay,
what is it? Like, do you want? Is it?
I mean, she's kind of. If you look, it turns into a bikini version of that outfit.
Is it transparent? I guess.
Where the colors inverse, that just doesn't make sense. But once again, we've got muscle She-Hulk here, and I do have to give credit where credit is due. In the retelling of the origin, she looks female. So I do have to give credit where credit is due on that. So Wolverine goes away, and I'm thinking, okay, well, finally we're gonna get some Jennifer Walters story, right? Oh, and it does show you her death. Remember, she died behind the scenes in Civil War 3. You get her death, but here's the thing. Civil War 3 sucked. Carol Danvers is a horrible character. And one of the stories that cemented Carol Danvers as a horrible character was Civil War 3. And all of this dialogue, by the way, all of the dialogue is to put down Tony Stark, to say, no, Civil War 3 was right. Gosh darn you readers who don't know what you don't know what's good for you. Trust us.
You should not trust a guy. Once again, the white guy, rich white guy, is the evil villain in this. Even though he's supposed to be a hero, he's secretly the bad guy because he uses misogyny. He put down Carol Danvers, who's a tough girl.
So let's see. This was, what, a year ago or two? There was a guy who could see the future, and he gave us 3 hours warning that Thanos was about to steal a cosmic cube and kill the world with it. We put together everyone we could find, some of the heaviest hitters on the planet, but it wasn't enough not to do it clean. People died. James Rhodes died. I died, but not right away. I remember Tony Stark just shrieking at Carol Danvers at my hospital bedside, no less. We paid in blood to save the world, but Tony hadn't been consulted, so it didn't count. No. You see, here's the thing. You got to all wonder, would he have done it if, they didn't know? But I tell myself now it was his grief talking. I have to. I work with him. But the truth is, if I'd been on my feet, I've broken his jaw. We'd lost so many to save so many lives, and he didn't care. I was so angry, my heart gave out. to be fair, there was still shrapnel in it from a Thanos killing missile. I flatlined. They didn't know how to revive me. That was that. You could say Tony Stark's need to always be right got me killed. Or you could say that Thanos put a freaking bomb in your chest. Oh, duh. But no, I disagreed with what Tony said and all the readers that say Civil War sucks. Therefore, you guys, you, Venkman, because you didn't like Civil War 3, you killed She-Hulk.
I'm just going to say to She-Hulk, F your feelings. Your feelings don't dictate.
Civil War sucked. Facts don't care about your feelings.
I mean, to blame Tony first off, I'm sorry. Tony is probably one of the smartest people in the whole entire group. Is the fact that Carol, Tony, you're just a civilian. I've been in blah, 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 blah. I know more than you. I'm thinking, no, you don't. She's been manipulated and all that stuff more than anybody else. With the Kree experimenting on her and all that stuff. It's the Brood. I don't trust Carol. And especially when you decide, you know what, I'm gonna cut my hair, and I'm thinking like at that moment I'm thinking if they would have been realistic, Tony would have been like, gee, Carol, you're starting to sound more and more like you just hate men. Are you trying to become a man? Are you transitioning?
Remember the Marvel writes the world outside your window, and Marvel's window is right outside a lesbian bar.
But I mean, it's great now that she's now a pirate now. If you see in that panel, she gets these eye patches. So I'm thinking, did she lose an eye? Because great. Because I want to lose both mine after reading that crap.
So instead of giving She-Hulk like character or anything, instead they go and they talk to not Reed Richard, but Bruce Banner's dad, and we give him character. She's reacting every gosh darn scene. She's not telling anything. She's reacting to what somebody else says.
Yeah.
So we're talking to Bruce Banner's dad, and he gives her the lowdown about what's going on and what's it like to be a Banner and what's it like to be. I'm like, why are we not hearing from She-Hulk? She-Hulk is literally, yeah. Well, my feeling is blah, blah, blah. Okay, you continue with your story, sir. I mean, they're literally giving her nothing to do in her own book because it's a recap.
It would have been better if she, because she's supposed to be on the brink of life, where she's just, and I'm not sure if she's in afterlife, but but instead, I would have rather have, like they did, even the David Banner, that it wasn't really the Hulk, Incredible Hulk series, when he was in a dream state, he met this other half of himself. If anything, she hates She-Hulk. She hates herself. I would have been better if she basically would have had a conversation with the other half of herself instead of these people who were supposed to be
She-Hulk and Jennifer actually talking,
hashing it out because She-Hulk ruined Jennifer's life. If she never would have become She-Hulk, she never would have died. But yet somehow she found a place, some reason. I'm gonna blame Tony because I went along with it. I could have said no. I didn't give him consent to die, so it's Tony's fault.
Yeah. Now, one thing they do also do that I'm once again got to give credit where credit is due. When she meets the Thor, she's talking about how she's broken, and that is Jennifer Walters' character.
Yeah,
There's a reason why Jen stayed as the She-Hulk for most of the time. She did not feel comfortable as Jennifer Walters, and why not? Is Jennifer Walters? She got shot.
Yep.
As She-Hulk, she's invulnerable. So, she has this conversation with She-Hulk. Now, of course, since it's Thor and they want to promote a book that's selling better than She-Hulk, they talk about what happened in Donny Cates.
No, the reason Thor is there because she's banging Thor now.
Well, now, yeah.
That's the reason that he's in there. Otherwise, Thor would have no reason.
It shows what happens in Thor. So we get a couple of pages of talking about him.
Well, because she asked him about what's it like to be immortal and stuff, and he said it's not as great as you think it is, But guess what? Really, there's no such thing is immortal because look, he said, perfect example. They go to what's showing how he in Kate's book he killed Galactus, and bravo for showing continuity for a change. I'm surprised that actually you acknowledged that. I thought he would have been sipping like in a Mount He's like, oh yeah, being immortal sucks, because there's never enough alcohol, whatever or something like that. I don't know. Some stupid joke.
Credit where credit is due. The Pink Ranger meets the leader. I like that. I like the fact that she's like, none of the other gamma mutae, as he puts it, like you. And I kind of dig on that because he mutated different. Everybody else gets strength, and he's getting brain power.
So we're as far as we're reading this book, it's kind of weird because because she's basically like Jen's. It's like Spider-Man. When I read the other book, he went to everybody else to get advice to make a decision that he already knew he had to make a decision, but he still was asking the people for the plot story, I guess. Before,
yeah.
But so she's just doing the same thing. She asked Wolverine, she asked Thor. And then it reflects about how she says apparently this is in the afterlife when she was in limbo. There's a green door apparently.
Yeah, yeah. That's how the Hulks keep going back to life. But now the door is shut. The leader has shut it. Therefore, Jen, you better not die. Dun dun dun.
But we show at the end of this book though. We show a shadow where it looks like the leader, and so I'm thinking, if the leader is a ghost and he doesn't have a body, physical bodies, is he like the Shadow? What's his name? Shadow King, looking for a body to come through. Is he to come back and get down and jiggy with Jen's body? And we're gonna have two take over her body, and she's gonna become like the superior immortal She-Hulk. Because then that make more sense why she's so freaking ugly.
I don't know. All I could say is I was looking forward to this. I'm a She-Hulk fan from.
We all are. It's just that they want to crap on the original lore. Like I said, the beginning of this book, nostalgia. Hey, we'll hook you in, and then you're like, okay, Wolverine's in here. Oh, look, they ruined Wolverine. Then they're gonna bring him back to like contradictory when he's pulling points in the book. Thor's in here because they're like, hey, Thor's hot right now. We'll throw Thor in here. That's why they paired her up with Thor, which I'm surprised because. Why does she look ugly? Because your whole thing is they look this way because they don't want her to be with any man. If Marvel had their way, she would be a lesbian, and that's why Carol is now Captain Marvel. She's not Miss Marvel anymore because she said that's too sexist. We can't draw her that way anymore. Yeah, and you know what?
All they have to do is let Greg Rucka write She-Hulk, and she'll be a lesbian in 2 issues.
And I'll just say this: the thing that really kills me about She-Hulk, where she's so muscular she can't get back to Vert. Why doesn't she talk to Betty Ross in the Red She-Hulk? She in her own series back in the day, she hulked out so bad where she got to where Jen is. She saw her reflection in the water. She said, "Oh my God!" And she went back to being the way she was, the normal, sexy She-Hulk.
Is 10 years ago really back in the day?
Well, Marvel, it might as well be a millennium.
I know, right? Because their continuity is right out the window.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's not good. So yeah, man. The big problem. I mean, we're doing a bad comic book beatdown on the She-Hulk right now because you read it. But yeah, I read Captain America. I read Iron Man #1, and I read what was the other one I got? The Storm book. All 3 of them, all 4 of them I got because the Alex Ross covers. I think.
I read the Cap. Like you said, I read. Really? I've gone up to Tucky, what the Colts, whatever it is. I read. Up to 23 with the whole Sharon Carter story, where we find out basically Steve's a cuck. He's been a cuck this whole entire life.
We might be doing another bad comic beatdown. You know what? Why not? Let's just
we'll call it the Great American Beatdown because he's not Captain America.
Beating down the Alex Ross books. I called my last Marvel versus DC, the comic book showdown videos I do. I called that one great covers on bad comics. This should be a series where we're in all honesty, what is a great cover that just was over a bad comic? Please tell us in the comments below. That way we could get to that as well. And we should be talking about this, to even go over the covers, maybe even with more detail if something, talking about why we think it's great, why we think that cover's great. Then you open it up. Because very rarely these days does the art on the cover match the art inside, especially if you're getting variants, which I know is my fault because I'm a cover B kind of guy. I'm never going to go, oh my gosh, I need that $50 to $100 variant cover. I don't think I'll ever do that. But
I'm also curious, is there any books that you guys have read also that are great stories, but cover sucks? So you almost didn't pick it up.
Let's go inverse. Yeah, because occasionally we would like to talk about a good comic. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think this is something, especially considering the Alex Ross cover on Captain America is great. The Alex Ross cover on Storm is great. But the books on the inside, we definitely have to talk about that Storm book. Man,
like I said, all the Captain Americas since starting 2018 or growing up, those have been great Ross covers. I love enjoying them. Like I said, until I got halfway through, it was issue 6 or 7. Then they said, you know what? We tricked you guys. Haha, we got you to spend all this money, and now we're just going to drop the hammer and just say, like, everything in Captain America you learned, once again, it's a lie. Well, I thought Secret Empire explained it all for us. Well, no. This is the real story. I'm like, okay, so when's the next one? I mean, it's anybody who out there reads Marvel right now, can you please go back and read the Kirby stuff? You know, this, and then tell me what you're doing. How is that any better?
How are you going to write a Captain America story when you think that America is not a good country?
That too. If your first instinct is to write everything Orange Man bad, maybe it's bad. It's not even that you think that the America is a bad country. I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking about the way the Constitution is America. If you think that the Constitution is a flawed document, you can't write Captain America, because Captain America, should be always for individualism. He should stand for the Constitution, because the Constitution is the most unique document in the history of man. And it said that man could be their own governor. Man could take care of their own lives. If you don't understand that, how can you write Captain? You know what? We're talking about that book during a CL thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us. Obviously, we got to talk about this. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you read this book? Did you like it? Tell us why in the comments as well. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, hit on one of these videos that are popping up around you and like on those as well. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, in the description below is the link to PayPal or Ko-Fi, or even the members only over at YouTube. Don't forget your jacket. Thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Hey, True Believers, England Teen here with another episode of Bad Comic Breakdown. Donkey. All right, let me try that again. Hey, True Believers, England Teen here. Take 3, by the way. Hold up 4 fingers. Anyway, hey, True Believers, I don't know what to do with my hands. What do I do with my hands? All right, take 4. All right. Sometimes this happens, man. I'm telling you, sometimes this happens. Gail's over here giggling at me every time I mess up, so whatever. Okay, let's try this one more time.